Good evening, everyone. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Gardner.
Here.
Christie.
Excused.
Deacon.
Here.
Pomelo.
Here.
Strubing.
Excused.
Thomas.
Here.
And Watson.
Here.
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody here for tonight's meeting. We're going to get started with minutes of previous meetings.
I make a motion we approve the minutes of the March 10th, March 21st, and April 7th meetings.
I second that.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Unanimous. Petitions and communication.
There are no petitions or communications.
Petitions and communications tonight, so we're going to move on from that. Report of the town manager.
Everyone, so to give you an update what's going on at Town Hall, Parks and Rec has been doing landscaping outside. We planted our new Christmas tree. Out front was tight, so they moved some bushes up onto the hill. Anyone wanting a fun summer, send your kids to summer camp. So far they have 125 campers, K through 5. Rich Beach will be opening Memorial Day, and make sure you plan for the spectacular on August 1st at noon. Fire department hired 3 more staff. We have student interns, and we have 3 leaving and 3 coming. Several fires last week, even just today in the last half hour, we had 3 calls, so they are very busy. Planning department working on a grant for open space, and with the Old Red Church, they're in the process of becoming that 501c3. Finance is working on the meeting warrant, and we are trying to change our online, to payroll to online instead of pen and paper. GAHR working on that new FMLA leave passports, and we've had a lot of requests for CMP help because CMP can legally turn off people's power now. Clerk's office received limited amounts of IWF stickers, working, checking about ballots. We will be open on June 9th. Assessing is working on the MRS audit. The town received 100% valuation, and they are going to a conference to learn more. Public Works has made a Facebook page. You should check that out. They share a lot of what they're doing. They recently put in cemetery flags and replacing a bunch of culverts. Code, they're working on permits, and we've had a lot of requests for cleanup yards, too many cars, etc. What we're going to start doing in July when we have new council seated is every month I'm going to have a new director come, or not a new, a director come, so that you'll be learning more about what each departments are doing. We also, with our new insurance, we have a new wellness incentive. The Health Trust gives back $40 for every person that participates. So we met today, and we're going to have a new wellness program. Also, we're going to put it on our website, but it's called the Maine Senior Farm Share Program. You can sign up at Steep Falls, and they give you $50 to use at the market. There's income guidelines, but we will share all of that. So if you have any questions, please feel free to call us. That's all we got.
Great, thank you. We're going to move into public hearings.
Yep, we start with June 9, 2026, municipal ballot referendum questions. Town of Standish, municipal officers
I make
notice.
a motion to waive reading. I assume that this is posted in certain places so that residents can read it.
Yes, this is on the town website. It's in the newspaper. It's posted in the municipal building, Standish and Steep Falls Post Office, as well as it's also on your ballots.
All right, then I make a motion to waive reading. Thanks.
You got a motion and a second to waive the reading. All in favor? Unanimous.
And then up next is 40-26, applications submitted by FJR Music Productions LLC for a mass gathering permit. Whereas section 187-24 of Standish Code Book requires the town council hold a public hearing for mass gathering permit applications. Order that mass gathering permit applications submitted by FJR Music Productions LLC for their music, art, and family event festival with camping that will be held August 13th, 2026 through August 16th, 2026 at Acres of Wildlife is approved, and further ordered contingent upon approval of the permit, FJR Music Productions LLC will provide a valid certificate of liability insurance.
Did you want to speak on this?
Yeah, I mean, if any of you want to just come up and introduce yourself.
I do this.
Yeah,
All right, so any public comments?
well, he's the applicant.
Yeah,
that's fine,
anything
that's
you guys need to ask, I mean, we have spoke with the sheriff's department, Lieutenant Dyer spoke with him yesterday, he's all set with us. So anything you have to ask of us,
Yeah, I met with Lieutenant Dyer after you did, and he just said if your sales exceed 400, to just keep in touch with me. And I can loop him back in, but he agreed, had no concerns and was happy to move it
right, I mean,
forward.
again, this would be our 11th show, 5
Nice.
years in Brunswick. We've had a great relationship, we give back to the community. We've been in touch with the food pantry, we also work with Make-A-Wish and another charity that gives back to the,
Love it.
yeah, we
Perfect.
work with a lot to give back to the community.
No,
We're
I
not
appreciate
here,
that.
so-
We just need to do our due diligence, but everything, we've actually called Brunswick and we got a good report, so we're happy to have you.
Awesome.
So you've done this how many times?
This will be our 11th. We've had
11th
10,
show.
we've had 10 shows in Brunswick. This will be our 11th.
Have you ever had any issues with the show? Any?
Not really. I mean,
Do
typically
you have
you might have a
security on
fight or
hand?
something like that. We handle it. We have our own self-security team. We have retired police officers on our team. We have a correction officer on our team. Anything that we've had issues with at Brunswick was call is needed, just like Lieutenant Dyer was saying,
Yep.
just call is needed.
Perfect. Any council comments or questions?
You sure don't have to worry about bothering your neighbors in there anyways, right? I couldn't think of a better place to have a music venue than.
Actually, to us, because the way this is situated with the parcel of land, we had much more residential areas in Brunswick than we do up here.
Yes.
Actually, we measured today because somebody mentioned just the houses on the road. The furthest house in is actually 2.5 miles away from our stage.
Yeah.
And you're going down into a low valley. Those trees are going to buffer the sound immensely. So, and we measure our sound, trust me, because we don't want to be disturbing anybody. We always are measuring our sound with our sound meters constantly. So, and then our late night go after 11 p.m. We go indoors anyway. So,
Perfect.
Good.
I expect to hear it at my house.
Yeah.
It's a long way.
and if you guys want to join us, just hit us up. Let us know. We'll get you a pass at the gates. Come check it out, see what we're doing.
Great.
So
Thank you.
We'll definitely have to, as a council, have to go
Yeah.
check it out.
Yeah, absolutely, right.
Free
yeah, just let us know.
Yeah.
Send us names. We'll put you on the list and just come to the gate. We'll bracelet you and just come check us out. See what we're all about.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So we all good?
Well, good. Well,
So far, we'll just, we'll put it out to the public and we'll go from there.
Okay, because we are selling tickets and everything's been moving right along.
You're
so-
good.
give us 30 seconds.
Yeah, you'll see what happens.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you. Is there any public comments or did you want to
No,
speak?
I'm with him, actually.
Oh, okay.
He's, yeah.
Actually, I'm supposed to sign the
You
application.
guys just sit down for a second. We still got-
Yeah.
Just take a break.
I see no public comments, any council comments. Roll call?
Gardner,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Pomelo,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
And Watson.
Yes.
Now you.
That's
Now you're-
unanimous. Now you're good.
Dinner time. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Can you stay for just a minute?
Yep,
We'll have
you wanna
Janet
sign?
give you a, in just a moment, though.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Took her the 300.
Next.
That's committee reports. Yep. So you good?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. We're gonna move on to committee reports. Appointments committee met tonight. I was a little bit late, so I missed out on it, but I was updated that we are moving forward the all applicants, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. And personnel committee didn't meet tonight, so we're good there. And Mr. Christie is excused. Transportation,
One gentleman wanted to talk about bike trails, and he has decided to approach it with the next council. There are some things coming up on the horizon. dealing with Route 35 and 25 corridor, which will be done later. There's no meeting scheduled that will be held at this time.
Thank you. Capital improvements?
We didn't meet, so we're good.
Okay. Finance committee, Lisa is
I can give the
excused.
finance committee report.
Okay, perfect.
Finances look good. The real estate taxes are due on May 18th, and so finances will look even better after that. Our next meeting is June 8th.
June 8th. Great. Economic Development Committee?
Last month we met, Zach gave us a presentation about the Brownfield grant that the town was received, and we also discussed the impact fee ordinance that we're going to hear more about tonight. The next meeting is May 20th.
20th. Thank you. And Ordinance Committee?
We haven't met this month yet. We're meeting later on. But we are bringing forward some changes to the form-based code and some, talking about some blasting ordinance changes tonight.
That's it. Awesome. Great. Consent calendar, seeing nothing on there tonight, so we're gonna go to unfinished business.
33-26, amendments to Standish Town Code, Chapter 181, changes to Section 181-7.1, form-based code village districts. This is the first reading. The Town of Standish hereby ordains that Chapter 181, form-based code village districts.
Motion to waive reading.
Second that.
Motion to waive the reading, second, all in favor? It looks unanimous. And then, Mr. Watson, you want to talk about this?
Give a 30,000-foot view. It's just more or less taking out some old language, making the form-based code more business-friendly, changing some streetscape stuff, changing some sign ordinances to, again, it's all focused on making it more business-friendly, let the developers come have more concise, less jargon, and just to have it be a better, more concise code to follow, more on par with what other towns have. So I don't know, does Zach get anything to add to that? But
good. I mean, if, like I said, the ordinance committee and economic development committee worked on these changes for a number of months over the years. So if you have any specific questions, let me know.
All right, thanks. Any public comments? Seeing none, council comments? None? Roll call?
Gardner,
Yes?
Deacon,
Yes.
Pomelo,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
And Watson.
yes,
Moving along to 34-26, amendments to Standish Town Code, Chapter 181, blasting. This is the first reading as well. The Town of Standish hereby ordains that Chapter 181, blasting of the Standish Town Code be and hereby is amended as follows.
make a motion that we waive the reading.
Second that.
Motion to waive the reading and seconded. All in favor? Looks like 4 yeses and 1 opposed. Yes,
All
sir.
right, so I'll go ahead and start over. The Town of Standish hereby ordains that Chapter 181, blasting of the Standish Town Code be and hereby is amended as follows. Additions are underlined, deletions are struck out. This is Section 181-16, gravel pits. Type 3, Type 3 operations, standards for new excavation operations, expansions over 5 acres and existing excavated areas or areas approved for excavation where the excavated area is 5 acres or larger. Number 4, excavation regulation, struck out new excavation. I'm not gonna like that word after this. Type 3 underlined. Operations shall follow the excavation regulations listed below. And this is K. All of section K is added. All blasting associated with use of permitted gravel pit must also be permitted under requirements of section 181-16.1. In addition, no such blasting except that which is reasonably necessary for the construction or maintenance of drainage ways or access ways as determined by the code enforcement officer shall occur within 200 feet of an abutting property boundary line or 300 feet of a structure not owned by the applicant, except if written permission is first obtained from the abutting property structure owner. Any written permission to allow blasting under this section must be recorded in the Registry of Deeds by the applicant prior to receipt of any local permitting not simply as a condition of approval. Blasting within a permitted gravel pit must follow all requirements in state statute for abutters notices and pre-blast surveys.
Angela, I'm gonna do 2 and 4. This is a lot to read.
Yes,
Mr.
so I
Deacon.
was about to raise the issue. I wanted to, I opposed the waiving of the reading because I wanted the public to get a better sense of what this issue was about. And I raised a point of order to waive the remainder of the reading.
Is that a motion?
I move to waive the remainder of the reading.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Unanimous.
Zach, do you want to just give a highlight?
Yeah, so last month the blasting ordinance was introduced, and then it was suggested that there was a couple changes. Went back to ordinance committee. The change to have blasting within 1,000 feet of wells requiring notice and pre-blasting was changed or taken out, and that the other requirement we talked about last meeting was adding up the blaster providing a map with the exact location of the blast. We did keep that in the new draft before you have tonight in front of you. The 1,000-foot well thing was changed so that blasting over 300 cubic yards or more material requires a permit from the planning board, as well as notice to abutters within 500 feet, including pre-blast surveys and well testing within that 500 feet. Blasting 300 or less of cubic yards will require a permit from the CEO and notice to everyone within 500 feet. But only pre-blast surveys and well testing would only apply to those within 250 feet of the blast site. So that's kind of where we're at with the rest of the ordinance being largely the same. But if you have any, you did get a memo, and if you have any specific questions about it, let me know.
Great, thanks. I'm gonna open it up to the public. If there's any public comments or questions on this, please come up. Please state your name and address and.
Brian Levitt,
5 minutes.
330 Oak Hill Road.
Thank you.
Zach, do you mind just clarifying those again? It seems like I'm just confused from what changed from the ordinance meeting the last meeting we had. I don't think.
That was there. I don't think anything.
So the blasting over 300 cubic yards would require planning board approval.
Yep.
As well as to notice abutters within 500 feet, including pre-blast surveys.
So a standard procedure when you go for a residential neighborhood would be to go to CEO,
Yes,
no matter what, right?
the
Permit,
less than 300. would be
less than 300 cubic yards or less than 300 feet?
Less than 300 cubic yards.
Okay, you go to the code officer, you get a permit issued, and then what? Your pre-blast survey goes out from there?
Pre-blast surveys for anyone, pre-blast surveys and well testing with anyone within 250 feet of
Yep.
the site.
Okay, and what was the other stipulation?
The other one was the planning board approval for 300 or more cubic yards, and that would apply. So and then you would have to notice and do surveys and well testing for everybody within 500 feet of the blast site for the 300 cubic yards.
Say that one more time, you have to do what?
For 300 or more cubic yards, you have to do within 500 feet of the blast site, well testing and pre-blast surveys.
As a mandatory thing, or they have the option, the homeowner has the option?
I believe it's written as a
Requirement.
you know, Jonah?
I'm pretty sure it's written as an option that in the letter that they have to work with the blasting company by a certain timeline, if I'm correct.
That's what I remember from our ordinance meeting too. It wasn't a requirement, it was optional
That,
by the home.
that
They
the
could.
developer would be responsible to pay for it, but it's, the homeowner has to work with them to get it done by that time frame that's in the letter.
Within 500 feet of the blast, not the property line of
I
the
believe it's
blast.
250 if it's the less than 300.
And 500 for 300 or over.
For 300 over.
250 for the
All
property
right.
line, 300 for the dormer. I
Two-
believe that's what it says.
That
I don't have it.
Just for clarity though, the 200 feet to the property line is for gravel pits, right? That's,
Written
Yeah, so
permission,
the 300
200 feet is for gravel pits.
The 300 is talking about stuff not associated with the gravel pit. So the 300 would, anything in the gravel pit would require written permission to blast. It still has that stipulation to have the 200 feet of property line or 300 foot of a structure.
Not a sign off on,
But that's only part of a gravel pit,
right, for gravel pit.
300 or less or
Our
whatever.
planning board approval, if it's over the 300, you still need the written permission, correct?
No?
So, no.
No.
Only,
Okay.
only for the gravel pit.
For gravel pits.
Only for gravel pits, right. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on this?
Yep. Jim Shaw, 8 Gilman Road Extension. I'm just worried that a lot of these lots, a lot of the lots that are getting in town now are only 200 by 200. So if you set a 200-foot distance away, you're gonna lose lots. You know what I mean? More than 300 yards, I mean, I can see it on gravel pits, I just can't see it on residential areas. You know what I mean?
It doesn't,
That's
the
what
200
I'm
foot,
Doesn't-
Jimmy.
that's how it is.
More than 300 yards, you said, though.
So if the house is more than 300 yards,
If it's more than 300 cubic yards of
It's-
material, it will require a
Material.
permit, but you don't have that 200 foot requirement.
Right, so, but more than 300 yards, you have to be 200 feet away. You know what I mean? So if you have a ledge cut, 300 yards is not a lot.
300 yards, and correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, has to go to planning board.
Yep.
More than.
But if it's not a gravel pit, you don't need the 200 foot written permission.
Correct.
So you don't have to ask a neighbor if it's that close, if
Right,
it's
but
not
I
a
mean-
gravel pit.
200 feet, most of your setbacks are 20 or 30
Close.
feet. You know what I mean? So with a 30-foot setback,
Sorry, that was from,
You
go
good?
ahead.
I think there's confusion between 300 cubic yards,
and 200 feet.
250 feet, 500 feet, or 300 cubic
300
yards,
feet.
Right, so
250 feet and 500 feet. So can
You guys are gonna
compare-
make 250 feet of that land not usable.
It's not saying you can't blast, it's setting the radius for a blast survey.
Okay, so you'd have to get a waiver.
If you're removing more than
Outdoor.
300.
You have to do a pre-blast survey and well testing if you're doing more than 300 cubic yards, not in a gravel pit.
You also have to go to the planning board and get approval.
Yep.
So, okay. I'm just, I mean, it's a lot to ask is all I'm saying. There's a lot of ledge in Standish, you know,
Yes.
that's all I'm saying.
Deanna Loring, 166 Oak Hill Road, and I want to thank the members of the council who had this go back to ordinance committee. Sadly, I missed that meeting. I had it in my head that it was at 6 and the meeting was at 4, so I missed that meeting. But I greatly appreciate a lot of the things that are in here and a lot of the changes and the notifications. As importantly, the notification to the people within that blasting zone who have asked to be notified when the blasting is, defining the timelines and whatnot. But to what I think this gentleman was saying, and I don't want to speak for you, so please say no if I'm wrong. What this has also done, sadly, is taken away an abutter's right to say you cannot blast within 200 feet of my line, whether it's 300 feet 300 cubic yards of material being removed or not, unless it's a gravel pit. Not many people want to live next to a gravel pit. I live in a residential lot. And as we all know, what started this whole thing is because I said no. Because it is a lot that is 200 feet wide. Right next, it was 175 feet wide, right next to our property line, and we said no.
Right.
So the initial request, my understanding that was brought to the ordinance committee was to move that 200-foot line down to 100. And now it's being completely removed unless it's a gravel pit. And if it's a gravel pit, I mean, not only do you have to have a written permission from the abutter, but that has to go to the registry of deeds and be attached to the deed. So there's a reason the state is asking for that requirement. So I think a homeowner should have a little bit more say as to what goes on next door, especially for their houses, their wells, their infrastructure. And I get it, sometimes it's just a blast for a foundation. So it would just be a one or two, a smaller blast. But if it's a big development being put in your backyard that's going around your property line, you should be able to say no. It may mean that they have to move their road or adjust their plan to go outside of that 200-foot boundary, but the homeowner should be able to protect themselves. Because if a blast happens, if something happens to a well, which most of Standish is on a well, then you as the homeowner have to prove it. You have to go get a second water testing. You have to pay for that. You have to contact the blasting company's insurance company. So I just think that piece got completely wiped out on the second reading. And I'm not, like I said, I missed the meeting. It's all on me. I've never been so mad at myself. But I just think that should at least keep the 100, if not just keep the 200, because we're getting smaller and smaller lots. They want to put four and five duplexes or different smaller homes on these lots. And to a developer, it's cheaper to just go in and blast, boom, boom, and then just remove the dirt, as opposed to bringing in drill rigs that will, take a little longer to crunch the rock. But Mr. Levitt proved in March, 3 weeks, you can move well over 2,000 cubic yards of dirt with 3 rigs. And he didn't need to blast. So, thank you. I hope you reconsider.
To that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zach, but we did follow up with our attorney and the ordinance was being read incorrectly. What was being read it's from a gravel pit. So this is my analogy that was explained to me. It makes the most sense. I buy 100 acres. I'm the first house. I can build whatever I want. John comes in second. He says, I want to blast. I can say no. And guess what? Nothing ever, that was never the intent of the ordinance. The intent wasn't for me to be, you can't build, sorry. Okay, but yes, you say yes, but no, you have to pass it down. Angela, you have to give Angela permission. That makes no sense. So that was not the intent of the ordinance. We did get a legal opinion and it was for gravel pits only. Is that a correct summation?
I think that's the way the attorney.
Yeah, so it cannot be, that's the way it has to go forward. It was misread.
It's not for resident, for homes and.
No, it's only for a gravel pit, so there's no, you have to go ask permission from your abutter. That's not.
Oh, I
Yes.
see, okay.
Because the day that the survey gentleman came to our house, I came directly to speak to the code enforcement officer, and he was the one.
Yep, and it was
said-
there.
He was the one who said, he pulled it up on his computer, said, the town attorney is telling me this.
It was
And this is
misread.
exactly what he said.
It should have been challenged and wasn't. They weren't, followed the ordinance as it was written. I spoke to legal.
Supposedly, the code enforcement officer spoke to him too, and they read it that way as well.
But I have the most recent ruling from our attorney.
Okay.
Any other public comments? Any council comments on this?
It's my understanding across Maine in general, that more than half the state relies on wells for their water. And Standish, not being a member of the Portland Water District, although their pipes go through certain roadways, most of Standish does not benefit from Portland Water District piped water and relies on wells. Access to potable water is essentially a factor for anyone to own or live in any structure in Maine or anywhere else. And so when you consider the effects of blasting, it needs to be done with the perspective that it's essential for properties to have access to potable water. And if a blast adversely affects that water, it can make the property either extremely expensive to operate and live in, or maybe uninhabitable. The news stories of the day are rife with many examples of so-called fracking for in other parts of the country, Pennsylvania and other states, where they frack to free up oil shale and such. And to be honest, I don't know the size of those blasts that occur, other than to say that many people report after those things that their well water just isn't drinkable. And we ought to take this more seriously because of the large number of people in Standish that have to worry about their well water, especially now in a situation where we have drought. The water tables are going down, the amounts of arsenic and other non-friendly chemicals and things in the water are more of a concern because you don't have the abundance of water in the water table. I would urge us to take a much more conservative approach to protecting property rights and well water usage to make sure that residents in Standish have access to potable water. And so with that in mind, I would say the 300-foot limit is certainly, or 200 or anything of that type, is way below what it should be. I see that the highest in use that's on that chart that came across is Cumberland for 1,000 feet. At a minimum, I would say that, and I would say that that may not even be enough because of the significant, you need water. That's a basic. You don't have potable water, what good is the property? So it is essential, and I don't think we've taken enough serious interest in ensuring that the people of Standish have access to potable water and to make sure that any blasting that occurs does not adversely affect anyone. In good times when there's plenty of water, or in other times when there's a drought and the water table is low and there are increased contaminants in the water as a result, I think we must take a much more strict approach. So I would move that we adopt at least the 1,000-foot limit in all cases for all blasting of any type, whether it's a gravel pit or not, and 1,000 feet from a property line and 2,000 feet from a structure. I think it's very important that we protect the rights of people
I'm gonna have you come
to have free use of their home, considering the essentialness of water. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Actually, I was gonna actually have you come up because I'd like to ask you a question, Mr. Levitt. How long have you been in the business of putting in wells and construction?
So we had Tim from Drill and Blasting Specialist show up.
That's not my question, sir. I was just asking how long you've been doing this.
Yeah, I've been doing it for 30 years.
And have you ever had a problem?
Never, not once.
I actually, could you continue? Because that's what I was going to say. We actually at that meeting had a blasting, I want to say expert here. He's done it for 40 years.
Tim Purington, who's been in the business for over 40 years, came with us to the last meeting, and he has never, and he stated this to everybody at that meeting, has never replaced a well. I'm not saying that they haven't done well, water testing and whatnot. That's probably a very valid point. We take all this very seriously. We take our neighbors' water seriously. We take our neighbors' thoughts seriously. Anna knows this. We've talked many times about this. But you can't make one situation the rule for an entire town over one thing that might happen. In my opinion, it might happen. Anything might happen, but you can't. Anyway.
Yep. No, thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. And that's why that was my second question. She got me on that one. Thank you. Was that, and I appreciate you.
Yeah.
You can have a seat, sir. Is that we can't change and go drastically changing things for a large town, a medium-sized town, whatever we are, 11,000 people-ish, for, what may happen, we've been doing this, we've been a town for a long time, and I've been here a long time. I've never heard this stuff happening. My brother's a contractor. I researched, I asked him, have you ever heard of anything like this? Wells? Never. Never had it happen. I've talked to other contractors, they said the same thing. So I wanted to just make sure I brought that up, that I've done my due diligence and talked to other people. I'm gonna go to another council member because he has a question, and then if we have time, we can.
What I was gonna say was already covered, but it was good to hear the information in the ordinance meeting about how over 40 years there was never incidences on the wells and things like that, so.
And in fact, they said they blasted 10 feet from wells to connect the foundation to the well. So even blasting that close to someone's well didn't have ill effects.
I'm good.
I think the big takeaway I took from the meeting and speaking with the blasting expert was that you're blasting up here, our wells are down here. And so that's the reason he hasn't had an issue in 40 years, is there's such a depth difference that the blasting's not impacting the wells.
Awesome. All right, and any more council comments? We're gonna move on. We're gonna do roll call.
Gardner,
Yes.
Deacon,
No,
Pomelo,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
And Watson.
Yes.
It's 4 yeses.
4 yeses, 1 no. It still passes.
And it moves on to public hearing.
Moves to public hearing, yes. So,
And then we have 35-26 amendments to Standish Town Code, Chapter 181 Capital Impact Fees. The town of Standish hereby ordains that Chapter 181 Capital Impact Fees of the Standish Town Code being hereby is amended as follows. Additions are underlined, deletions are struck out. This is Section 181-21 General. C, this part is added, exemptions notwithstanding anything.
Motion to waive reading.
Second that.
all in favor? It's unanimous. Anybody wanna touch on this?
This is just adding an impact fee to our ordinance for traffic, for a development that puts traffic through the 25-35 corridor. Essentially, it's the short of it, so if you have any questions, let me know.
All right, great, thank you. Any public comments? No? Council comments? Roll call?
Gardner,
Yes?
Deacon,
yes,
Pomelo,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
and Watson.
Yes.
And so it passes, moves to second reading. We'll move to third.
Second reading, public hearing, same thing.
Perfect, now we're gonna move on to new business.
41-26, application submitted by Acres of Wildlife Campground, doing business as Acres of Wildlife Campground located at 60 Acres of Wildlife Road for renewal of on-premises beer, wine, spirits, Class A restaurant license. Order that the application submitted by Acres of Wildlife Incorporated, doing business as Acres of Wildlife located at 60 Acres of Wildlife Road for renewal of on-premises beer, wine, and spirits Class A restaurant license is approved by council to expire as determined by Department of Public Safety.
Excellent. Straightforward. Council comments?
I have one question. I know we talked about giving the authority to the town managers, just
Yeah.
say yay or nay on these. Have we made any progress on that?
Yeah, I looked into it. I actually talked with the Bureau of Alcohol and Lottery. I talked to all of them and they said that it is state. We have to go through the council for this.
It is what it is.
All right.
I'll just say that the Standish Wildlife Management Area, which is nearby this location, is one of the, perhaps the largest single wild area in southern Maine, in Cumberland County itself. And as such, it's a great resource to us. And it's maybe something that's underutilized to have events or activities involving this particular campground, but are something that would take advantage of the fact that we have such a wonderful wildlife resource management area. And I would encourage us to consider ways to better use that, be a good steward.
Point of order, can we just stay on task with like the permit for drinking?
I encourage
And for
the
beer.
permit and would encourage consideration of other such activities. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions, comments? Roll call?
Gardner,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Pomelo,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
And Watson.
Yes.
Perfect.
So passes.
So next up is 42-26, authorize use of town council contingency accounts funds to the Standish Food Pantry for a donation. Order that the finance director is authorized to use an amount not to exceed $7,500 from the council contingency account to donate to Standish Food Pantry as discussed during the budget process.
Straightforward. Any council comments?
If I just may explain.
Yep.
Just recap what happened.
Yep.
So we had our donations meeting night in March. As part of that requirement to request a donation, 1, you had to submit paper documents by February 15th, and 2, you had to attend the meeting. Unfortunately, the food pantry did not get their paper documents submitted in time, but they were at the donation meeting. We let them present, but unfortunately, because they didn't meet both of the requirements, the council did not give them a donation. I made the suggestion at that time because the town council had not utilized all of its contingency funds that we had budgeted for this year, and because the food pantry is so vital to our residents, that we take a donation from our contingency fund and make a one-time donation to the food pantry. In conjunction, if we approve this tonight, I also prepared a letter that I was going to sign. It's attached to your order, just making it clear to the food pantry that this is a one-time thing, and that we do appreciate what they do on a weekly basis for our residents.
I'd like to say thank you for taking the time to write that. It's well written and for suggestions to do this because the pantry is vital to our residents. And so thank you for your suggestion and for taking time to write that. So
I was going to say thank you to Jen Thomas also for thinking of this. I thought it was a great outside the box way to use the contingency fund. And I actually want to challenge counselors, maybe if there is money that's already appropriated in our contingency that is not going to be used, maybe we can, use it this way instead of, taking extra funds from taxpayers to fund donations. So I thought it was a great win-win.
well said. Good. Roll call?
Gardner,
Yes.
Deacon,
I must recuse myself because I'm a co-founder and current board member of the food pantry.
Okay, thank you.
abstained. Pomelo,
Abstain.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
And Watson.
Yes.
So passes. Thanks.
And then 43-26, authorize acceptance of Moses Cemetery and appointment as trustee of Moses Cemetery Trust Fund. Whereas Moses Cemetery, the cemetery, is a private cemetery located at 402 River Road, which is currently owned and operated by the Moses Cemetery Corporation, the corporation. And whereas the corporation is currently the trustee of the cemetery's trust account, which contains approximately $8,322.70, the trust account. And whereas the current members of the corporation are unable to continue maintaining the cemetery and have agreed to transfer of the cemetery and trusteeship of the trust account to the town no more than 30 days prior pursuant to 13 MRS section 1221. And whereas the town council is satisfied that the acceptance of the transfer of both the cemetery and trust account is in the public interest, and that maintenance of the cemetery will not place an undue burden on public funds in the future, particularly given the town's existing obligations with respect to veterans' graves in the cemetery pursuant to 13 MRS Section 1101 and 30-A MRS Section 5723-3.
I'd like
Now-
to make a motion to waive the rest of the reading and have somebody just explain the rest. Is there a
So
second?
Yep.
John and
All in
I
favor?
met with the town
We
attorney
gotta keep
and.
reading. One abstain, one no.
Sure. Now therefore be it ordered that the town of Standish hereby accepts transfer of Moses Cemetery and authorizes the town to accept appointment as trustee of the cemetery's trust account as follows. 1, the town manager is authorized to accept a warranty deed to the cemetery from the corporation and to take all other actions reasonably necessary to complete such transaction, included but not limited to the execution of all documents attendant to such transaction. 2, the town attorney is authorized to participate to the extent necessary in any and all proceedings initiated by the corporation in the Cumberland County Probate Court related to the corporation's petition to have the town appointed as trustee to the trust account. And 3, the treasurer is authorized to accept and deposit the balance of the trust account under authorization of transfer by probate court, which funds shall be deposited and managed in accordance with Title 38, Chapter 223, Subchapter 3-A, provided that such trust funds may be deposited into an account already maintained by the town for similar purpose, pursuant to 30-A MRS Section 5654. The income produced by the balance of said trust account shall be annually expended, in addition to any other funds appropriated by the town for the maintenance of the cemetery.
Thank you.
There's a lot, thank you. Anybody
Yeah,
wanna still
so
talk on it?
yeah, I mean, briefly,
Okay.
John,
So there's a legal process that we have to go through as far as taking over a cemetery. We were approached by the caretaker of the cemetery. Basically, he's reached his maximum age of wanting to do it. They have funds those funds can be used for, like, if it needs a fence replacements, idea that it'll be just used for that. But we will take over the maintenance of the already ones that we do, meaning mowing, cleanups, placing of flags within that. And it's just going through the legal process that they've been working with the town attorney of what has to officially be done for us to be able to do that.
Great, thank you. Any public comments on this? Seeing none, any council comments?
What's the size of the trust fund, do you know?
8,200 and change. It's
Yeah, it's right there.
it's in the order.
I'm sorry if I missed that.
Yep.
Do you foresee any immediate use or need for those funds?
Not immediately. I mean, it's an older metal fence. At some time it's probably in need replacement. It's on River Road currently by Libby Pines. It's the one that sits up on the hill.
Okay, thank you.
Other comments? Roll call?
Gardner?
Yes?
Deacon?
Yes.
Pomelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
And Watson?
Yes.
All right, 44-26, amendments to Standish Town Code, Chapter 245, Solid Waste Recycling and Management, Section 245-9, License Application. The town of Standish hereby ordains that Chapter 245, Solid Waste Recycling and Management, Section 245-9, License Application of the Standish Town Code be and hereby is amended as follows. Additions are underlined, deletions are struck out. This is Section 245-9 license application. A, any person desiring to receive a license referred to in this article shall present a written application, therefore, to the town clerk on a form provided by the town, accompanied by an appropriate license fee. Licenses shall be issued only after review by the Public Works Director and approval by struck out council and added town manager.
This is a housekeeping one, trying to keep stuff that you guys are wanting to take away from going to the council of just, it's basically a business license for these haulers to do business within town and instead of having to come to you.
Great. Any public comments? Council comments? Roll call?
Gardner?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I just had a quick comment. Basically, it's housekeeping, like John said. I don't know, I've been on the council 18 years, and we've never changed anything. Once it goes through Public Works, there's no reason for it to come here and waste our time. So this is why we're doing this. It's just straight up wasting the council's time, and with a town manager in place. Obviously, a lot of this stuff, when it come forward, we didn't have a town manager and possibly a part-time Public Works director. So that's why a lot of this stuff comes through the council for years.
Thank you.
I was going to say the same thing. So.
Well said. Roll call?
Gardner?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Pomelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
And Watson?
Yes.
45-26, amendments to Standish Town Code, Chapter 252, Streets and Sidewalks, Section 252-23, naming and numbering of street and roads. The town of Standish hereby ordains that Chapter 252
The
streets.
motion waive the reading, please.
Second that.
All in favor? Unanimous.
again, this is a housekeeping one, instead of like all the private roads, when the street names come through, that'll be done by approval by myself and the town manager at that time, instead of it coming from the council. And all the other department heads sign off on the road names as well. It's just not myself in that process.
Great. Other comments? Any council comments? Yes?
Yeah, when it comes to town names for places and roads, I just encourage the town to consider its history and important people and events, and consider, well, it's nice to have a road named after somebody who lives on the road. There are lots of other worthy names that are appropriate, and I would urge the town manager to consider involving the Town Historical Society and ask them to identify potential road names that could be on a list available to the town manager to recommend for various roads.
Same thing. Never has a council changed a name that someone has picked out for a private road or an avenue that they're living on. So don't, it's just waste our time as councilors to sit here and approve Bobby Joe's Lane, which is gonna get approved anyways. We've never denied anybody that name. So the town manager will now take care of that instead of us dealing with it.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, this is not us approving or disapproving a private or public way. This is strictly talking about names, just for people out there, just not saying we're gonna accept the road or not accept.
And the person, we don't give them the names, they submit.
The names.
They submit the names.
I just wanted to piggyback on Councilor Pomelo's comment, both for the last ordinance we changed and this one. It also allows for an applicant to get something done a lot faster, as opposed to having to wait for the once a month council meeting.
Thanks for that. All right, roll call.
Gardner,
Yes?
Deacon,
Yes?
Pomelo,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
And Watson.
Yes.
46-26, amendment to Standish Town Code, Chapter 3, Administration of Government, Article 3, Town Council 3-10, Communications, Attendance at Meetings. Ordered that the Town of Standish hereby ordains the following amendments to the Administration of Government Ordinance effective July 1, 2026 upon adoption. Additions are underlined, deletions are struck through. And this is for D, starting with the 2026 to 27 fiscal year, compensation of the town council members shall be $300 per year to be paid in 4 quarterly payments.
I got one question. Why do we do it in 4 quarterly payments? Why don't they just do it once a year? Doesn't it take bookkeeping and accounting for everybody to write checks 4 times a year? It's $300. Why don't we just do it once a year? Be done with it. I'm just throwing that out there.
I only guess if somebody resigns or something.
Then send $75 checks. It costs probably $70 to send.
I can check with finance. I have no idea why.
I mean, because we could probably make them reimburse us.
Yeah.
Reimburse us or something if they step
Yeah,
down, but,
let's move forward.
all right, any other comments? Roll call.
Gardner,
Yes?
Deacon,
Yes?
Pomelo,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
And Watson.
Yes.
47-26, change the date of the regular council meeting in June to June 2nd, 2026. Whereas the regular meeting of the Standish Town Council in June is scheduled to be held on June 9, 2026, which is the same day as Election Day. And whereas the Town Council rules of procedure allow for the date of the meeting to be changed upon vote of the council, now be it ordered that the regular meeting of the Standish Town Council be changed to Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026. Beginning at 6 p.m., so not to conflict with the polling hours of Election Day. I don't know if we can just go ahead and make it.
Can I make a motion?
Yeah, thank you to correct that. Thank you.
Can I make a motion to correct the date on there for the next meeting, for the next council meeting to be June 2nd, 2026?
Thank you.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Bob? To changing the date?
It's a mistake, it's a typo.
Yeah, I don't want us to change, I don't want the meeting to take place, so I'll do what I can to obstruct it. Thank you.
Oh, no,
I understand what you're saying. I'm not gonna vote for it. Thank you.
we're not voting on that. We're just
I
voting to
understand.
change the
I'm not-
correction.
I'm not gonna vote for it. Thank you.
That's okay. 4-1.
So 4-1.
I don't know what's going on here, but appreciate you. So it passes there. Yeah, this is just, we do this every year. Can't have the meeting on the election day. So any questions or comments? Anybody have a comment on this?
I think if, when you look at the arrangement of the meetings for the blasting ordinance, how many more sessions of the council available before the election, and maybe having this council meeting after the election would allow for the new council to consider the blasting ordinance?
Say again?
I stay with what I said. Thank you.
Could you repeat that, though? I didn't understand what you said.
I think it's straightforward. I'd like to have that council meeting after the new council is elected.
If you don't mind, if that were to take place, and I'm fine with whatever you guys want, we do need to hold a special meeting in June, at least 7 days before June 13th, to do the annual meeting warrant, because that's on that Saturday, so that's something to factor in.
Move the order.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna pass anyway, so. All right, let's roll call.
Gardner,
Yes.
Deacon,
No,
Pomelo,
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
And Watson.
Yes.
4 yeses, passes. It'll be on June 2nd. All right, moving on. There are no public items, no announcements, not going into executive session. Say again? Oh, wait, I jumped, I went too fast. Are there any public items?
Do you want to read this? No.
Anybody would like to come up and talk about anything?
I just want to make mention of John Cross and his staff. They take care of 60 cemeteries, so in Memorial Day, I'm really grateful for all the care that they do, and now they're taking another one, so they're in the 60s. So I'm so happy to honor our residents and our veterans, and I just appreciate you, John, and your staff for taking, that's a big responsibility.
Thank you. Awesome. Any other public items? Nothing? All right, no public items, and yeah, what?
I was gonna make a motion to
Yeah,
adjourn.
absolutely. Second, all in favor? Perfect.